Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Malicious Compliance Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers. In our first story, a healthcare provider needs to get in touch with a patient's emergency contact. The wife doesn't answer. I guess it makes sense to call the mistress next. Let's jump right in. This happened back in 2009. I was working part-time at a doctor's office while I was in nursing school. I was one of the receptionists and did all the filing and cataloging and such. It was boring work, but the doctor, my boss, guaranteed me a job after nursing school, so that's why I did it. This particular doctor was an orthopedic surgeon. We had lots of patients coming in for MRIs, CAT scans, and X-rays. This one particular patient, Frank, was scheduled to have surgery in a couple days, and he needed to come and pick up his MRIs and X-rays from our office and bring them with him to his procedure. Yes, looking back at how backwards things used to be is so frustrating. All these things are 100% electronic now, and even back then they were too, but my boss was old school. So anyway, I called Frank to tell him to come pick up his images, but he didn't answer. I called him again during lunch, but still no answer. So I left him a message. The following day I called him again, but still no answer. It was imperative that Frank got his images or else he wouldn't be able to have his surgery. So I looked in his file to see if he had any other contact information. He listed his home phone number as well as his wife's cell. I called his house and left a message. I also called his wife, Amy, but she didn't answer either, so I left her a message as well. The office manager, Diane, told me to just call whoever was listed in his emergency contacts because if Frank didn't get his images and missed his surgery, then she would have to do a whole new stack of paperwork to reschedule him, and she didn't want to be bothered. I looked to see if there was an emergency contact, and Frank listed a woman named Helen. Relation to patient? Girlfriend. I told Diane I didn't want to call Helen when I had already left a message for Amy, as it would put me in an awkward position. Diane said that as long as the patient listed them as an emergency contact, I could call them. She also said that it's not uncommon for couples to be separated but still legally married for insurance reasons, and that this could possibly be the case for Frank and Amy, which I guess made sense. I really wanted to believe that no one would be stupid enough to put their secret lover as their emergency contact. I didn't want to be fired for being insubordinate, so I called Helen and she actually answered her phone. I was secretly hoping she wouldn't, and told her Frank's images needed to be picked up prior to his surgery. She came by during lunch, got the images, and then left. I immediately called Frank again to let him know that Helen picked up his images and to not worry about it. But this fool wasn't answering his phone, so I left him another message. A couple hours later, Amy called back and said she wasn't able to answer before because she was teaching, but she got our message and was coming to pick up Frank's images now that school was done for the day. I told her that the images had already been picked up. I tried to be as vague as possible. Who picked them up? I know Frank is still busy at his office and hasn't had the chance to come get them. Again, I'm really trying hard to be vague. We called someone from his emergency contact list. Was it his brother Steve? At this point, I'm really nervous. No, not his brother. Well, then who? Helen. Who is Helen? I don't know anyone named Helen. I'm not sure, but since she was on Frank's emergency contact list and no one else was answering their phone, we called her and she already came and got the images. Confused, Amy hung up. The following day was Frank's surgery. The day after Frank's surgery, my boss jokingly asked me, "What the hell did you do to that guy?" He came in all pissed at me saying that my secretary told his wife about his other girlfriend. I told my boss what happened and that Diane told me to call the girlfriend, and he understood. Diane tried to throw me under the bus by saying I didn't tell her that Helen was Frank's girlfriend, and that I had told her Helen was just a friend, and that she never would have given me the green light to call a patient's mistress. But I reminded her in front of my boss that she had said it was possible for Frank and Amy to be married but separated. This witch was trying to cover her butt because she probably thought it was some kind of HIPAA violation, but nothing ever happened. I was 18 years old at the time and just did whatever my superiors told me because I was really thirsty for job security after college, but I ended up not working there and went to work at a hospital instead. In story 2, we see how you deal with cold callers who just won't give up. In the mid-noughts, I worked for a small printing company. Our commercial work was on large lithographic machines, but we still had office printers and a number of staff who knew a lot about them. I don't think a single one of our office printers had been purchased new or even working. The owner just bought job lots of broken office printers for not a lot of money and then Frankensteined them into working ones. We didn't often buy printer paper because we just cut leftovers from the factory to suitable sizes for the office. Overall, our office printing costs were extremely low, despite the fact that we printed tens of thousands of pages a year. I was a general office dog's body. Among my duties was fielding calls for the director. He would never take calls from cold callers, and I was allowed to describe myself as whatever job title they wanted to hear to deal with them. An office printing management service had got our number. They were offering a completely managed service where they loaned the machines, supplied the consumables, took care of everything, and you just paid per print. Great for some companies, expensive and unnecessary for us. When they first started ringing, I kept telling them, "Sorry, we aren't interested. Please remove us from your list," or "We're a printing company. We don't need managed printing services. Please take us off your list." This must have gone on for months, and I was getting annoyed that they wouldn't take us off the call list and started spending more time trying to explain to them why it was pointless and a waste of both our time to keep ringing. I explained the information above, but the caller was convinced he could save us money regardless of all that. I guaranteed him he couldn't, as I doubted we paid more than a penny a page. Naturally, he didn't believe me. As far as he was concerned, if I was answering the phone, I was the office junior, no one important answers the phone, who had no idea how much printing actually cost, and just too stubborn and/or stupid to put him through to someone that mattered. And if he persisted, eventually he'd get through to the right person who would reward him with a juicy contract. This same conversation was had at least once a week for the next month or two. He's desperate to let me set up a meeting. Besides, he says he can take us off the list once he's set up a meeting with a decision maker. Right? Fine, sure, you can book a meeting for your reps, but I guarantee it will be a complete waste of their time. I scheduled them a meeting with the office manager, me, on a Friday afternoon when I'm the only one in the office, so I won't be too busy and it'll be a diversion. The reps arrive, I show them into the office. They are clearly thinking we spend a lot on printing because we have so many damn printers, and I give a rough idea of how much we get through in the office. They give me their enthusiastic spiel about all the advantages, focusing on the costs. They want to sit down with the figures and see what they can save us. Do I know what we spend at the moment? Here's the paraphrased conversation. Not completely sure, think it's around 100 to 200 pounds a year. Nah, it'll be a lot more than that with the amount of printing you do. Is that just the paper? No, that's just ink and toner. The rep looks skeptical. Well, there's the paper too. To be honest, we mostly cut down leftover paper from the factory, or sometimes suppliers give us a few cases for free. Okay, right. So what about the initial costs of the machines? If you average it out over the lifetime of prints rather than considering it just as capital expenditure, it can make up a significant portion of your printing costs. This photocopier, for example, it's a few years old now and you're looking at about £12,000 to replace it with a similar spec machine. So with our service, you can avoid that capital expense. The owner buys them broken and repairs them. Most of the printers only cost a few quid, except the photocopier, which I think cost us £700. As even broken, they are expensive, and it took 3 broken ones to make the one working one. Right, so when you need to replace it, I hazard to guess he'll do exactly the same again. And the ongoing maintenance costs? I just looked at him. Then there's the costs and lost productivity of downtime to consider. He is trailing off at this point. It's clearly part of his rehearsed spiel, but he can also see downtime isn't an issue when we bizarrely have more printers than computers. There's absolutely no point of us being here, is there? No, I'm afraid not. That was repeatedly explained to the guy who set up the meeting, but he said your company won't stop cold calling until we agree to a meeting, so here you are. The reps agree it is a complete waste of time, have a bit of a frustrated laugh about the call center, and say it's not the first time they've been sent to completely pointless meetings because the call center folks get their commission based on the quantity, not quality of the meetings they set up. They don't bother giving me their quote, and I never heard from the company again. This is John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.